The sinking of the Titanic remains one of history's most infamous maritime disasters, capturing imaginations around the world. However, some have wondered if the doomed passengers could have climbed onto the iceberg to save themselves after the collision. While this idea might initially seem plausible, a closer look reveals why it wasn't a viable option. When the Titanic struck the iceberg, it was traveling at a high speed of around 25 miles per hour. As a result, it continued moving forward for about 1 mile before finally coming to a stop, putting significant distance between the ship and the iceberg following the impact. Without radar technology at the time, navigating back to the exact spot of the iceberg in complete darkness would have been impossible. Attempting to turn the massive ship around would have also wasted precious minutes needed for evacuation. Even if the Titanic could have returned to the iceberg, attempting to get passengers onto it would have been extremely dangerous. Icebergs are mostly submerged, so getting too close risked even further damage to the hull. Moreover, the ship lacked the necessary equipment, like long gangplanks, to safely transfer people onto the iceberg. Chaos and freezing temperatures would have made such a risky endeavor practically impossible. Additionally, passengers were reluctant to board lifeboats, so convincing them to leap onto an isolated iceberg would have been highly unlikely. The chaotic situation on the deck made it difficult to coordinate clear instructions for such an unprecedented crisis. In hindsight, it's easy to propose alternative plans, but given the circumstances of the sinking, boarding the iceberg was simply not a practical solution. The crew had no choice but to load passengers into an insufficient number of lifeboats, leading to tragic consequences. Considering the actual historical events, the idea of the Titanic passengers climbing onto the iceberg becomes more of a thought experiment. The ship had moved far from the collision site on the frigid, open sea at night, making locating the iceberg nearly impossible. Maneuvering the massive vessel designed for cruising, not agility, would have been extremely challenging. Furthermore, the Titanic lacked the necessary equipment and stability to safely approach the partly submerged iceberg once the ship started taking on water. Attempting to disembark hundreds of confused passengers onto a slippery and icy surface in the dark would have been chaotic and perilous. As humans, we often ponder alternate scenarios that could have averted a tragedy. However, the reality faced by the crew and passengers of the Titanic on that fateful night was dire. With no established protocols for maritime disasters of such magnitude, they had to improvise evacuation procedures as the Titanic swiftly sank beneath the waves.